Okay, so my questions are done. As you know, we've been interacting with with a lot of people around. So I had put this story on Instagram, and I've got a lot of good responses. So there are a few questions which I picked, and I want to talk to you about it. Starting with first is, I want to know, how does mental toughness affect anyone's performance, be it live, be it. This is from an. So he wants to know, how does it affect on the performance, and how does it affect in life usually also, having a
Right.
good stable mind.
Right. So what is mental toughness? Okay, mental toughness is your ability to face, to perform basically in a hostile environment. That is what is mental toughness. Okay, so how well are you able to perform when you're in a challenge situation? That is what tests how your mind is tough, whether it is tough or no, whether you succumb to that challenge. So whether you interpret a challenge or any situation as a threat to you, or you take it up as a challenge and you get on with it. So that is what is mental toughness. Now again, mental toughness doesn't only pertain to a court, a table, a pool, or an arena. It's a life skill to learn, right? Not every time life is very rosy, merry, and a unicorn land. So we get thrown off from our targets and from our plans and everything. So the challenges that we face. So mental toughness, of course, is an important skill. And when I say that, it's not something that you might not be somebody who's gifted with it, you might be, but the good part about it is that you can work on it, you can develop mental toughness. So that's probably the good part about mental toughness is कि, it's a renewable resource. It's a resource which sort of, you work on it. The more you work on your mind, the more you treat your mind as a muscle, like you treat your core, your biceps, and your triceps, the more stronger it's going to be. Again, mental toughness doesn't guarantee success. You are going to have failures. The key component is how well do you take on the failure? How well do you make sense of that failure? And because, see, as athletes, we are going to lose, right? And some author, I don't remember the name, but has given this. Here, winner is a loser who pays attention to what is it that he lost, because who sort of appraises the loss very well, and that is what makes him a winner, right? You think about Roger Federer, think about Serena Williams, think about Dhoni, think about Mithali Raj, anybody. All of these athletes have faced failure in some point or not. But why was Dhoni able to hit the six that he hit? Because he had trained his
Yeah,
mind for that particular situation. He thrives on that pressure. He thrives to be the match finisher, right? So of
correct.
course it's a
That
skill to
absolutely
learn.
will help your performance.
Definitely. So it is a skill to learn, and there are so many things that you can do on an individual level to sort of start working on your mental fitness, mental toughness to say
Correct.
so.
Correct. So when you spoke about accepting failures and then training your mind like a warrior, rather, I would say, I had a similar question. How do you accept failures in the right spirit? And there are a lot of times, an athlete, or even in our usual life, we tend to go through tough phase in life, which is constant. Like, it's been years you're going through failures, and you want to come back, you want to be in a normal life. So there was this question by asked, that how to take it in the right spirit, and how to handle it in your, like, in a positive way, rather, I'd say.
Right. There are two things to this. The first thing is what athletes typically do is they only focus a lot on preparation. All right. Okay, I want my fitness in place. I want my mental toughness in place. I want my diet and nutrition in place. So everything goes in a very pre-match zone. We start preparing for that one match. We start preparing for that one national championship title and things like that. As important as your preparation is, equally important is your rest, your recovery, and your post match analysis. And if you want to take
Correct.
failure in the right stride, in the right spirit, you have to pay attention to your post match analysis, which is something that athletes tend to ignore. Because, अच्छा ठीक है वो match हो गया ना मैं हार गया ठीक है next match. But till you don't have a closure on what went wrong in that match, how are you going to move ahead? Right, and
Correct.
that is
Correct.
something which will sort of help you to take the failure in its right sense. If you ask yourself these questions, if you positively and negatively critically analyze that particular situation which you felt that okay, I failed in this particular situation. And again, not only in sport and some other, if you failed at a job or if you failed at an exam, as basic as that, instead of just piling up on yourself, okay, I failed, I might be a failure, I can't do this, it's okay. For a day or two, you will feel it. But the third day, you should be able to ask yourself this question, okay, okay, I failed, but is it really the end of the world? What went wrong?
Correct.
Should I have prepared more? Should I have had read more books? Or should I have had practiced certain mock tests? How? Only then you will be able to form a foolproof plan for going ahead, right? And
Exactly.
when you analyze a particular situation is when you go to the roots of it, when you try and find the root causes, the root triggers of what went wrong. And as important as it is to give yourself that critical feedback, it's really important to even pat yourself saying कि you still performed, you still played that match. Now I'll give a TT example because that's what I'm most relevant to. Any match that you play, you don't lose 4 games straight on zero on love, right?
Yes, of course.
Whatever points you make, try and analyze uski, okay, okay, I might have not met my expectations in that particular match, but whatever I did, what good did I do? How well did I execute my strategy? So as much as it's important to give yourself critical feedback, it's also important for you to praise yourself. And this is something that athletes really miss on. They strive for perfection so hard, they strive for perfection so hard that they tend to miss out on all these small little joys that sports tries to
Yeah.
teach them. And that is something, of course, now I can say this well in hindsight, having left TT 2 years ago. When I was playing, I might not have had this perspective, but right now, since I work with so many athletes, I really stress on this a lot that your post match analysis, your season analysis is important. Think about it, if you're dating somebody in a relationship, how important is closure after a breakup? Similarly, important
Of
is
course.
closure after any
Yes.
performance. Otherwise, you're going to carry that baggage into your next relationship or to your next match.
Yeah.
As
Think
simple as
on it
that.
and behave like that. Similarly, correct. Somewhere I got an example of this also. Like right now, we are in an uncertain situation, and again, we've been not used to this failure which we have. I can't call it as a failure, but at least an uncertain situation. When HRV, we were in our lives going on normal and everything, and all of a sudden this has come. But we have accepted quite gracefully, I would say. Every one of us is doing a really good job. So I think it is something similar to that lines only, like
Yes.
acceptance when you say.
Of course. And even when the lockdown ends, ask yourself 3 months I was home, what did it teach me? I'm pretty sure lockdown has taught you so many things which are important, like improving patience, paying attention to your own self, focusing on self care, so many things which we tend to ignore usually. This is something that a crisis situation has taught you. So, hold those learnings very dear to your heart, is what I would really say.
Failure is something that will get you out as a more positive person, I think. That is
And
something I
failure
would
is
say.
inevitable. It's inevitable. You don't have to be an
Yeah,
athlete to fail. You can be just a random person who
yeah,
can fail. So it's
of course.
inevitable. You have to live with it. And that's why if you want to live healthy, you have to make sense of it. Otherwise, it's just going to pile up and then you are going to get succumbed under that
Yeah,
big mountain of undealt with emotions.
of course. Coming back to that, when you say that, it can be to a normal human also, there are a lot of people who face social anxiety, and this was the same similar question which I had got, how to deal with social anxiety. Like, you
Right.
at times do not tend to match up to the thinking which another person has. Dealing that gets very difficult, and then you start feeling underconfident, you start feeling bad about yourself. How is it that we can cope up with it?
Right. So again, anxiety by its basic definition is the worry of future or being uncertain about what's going to happen. All right. And any situation that you have in life, be that sport or anything else, it's uncertain. When you go to play a match on table, you don't know what the result is going to be. But does that mean that you don't take up your racket and go on table? No, you still take your racket up, you still tie your shoelaces, and you go in the arena and stand like a warrior with your ready stance or with the ball in your hand, right? What does that teach you is that of course there is going to be anxiety, there is going to be pressure, there is going to be all sorts of synonyms that anxiety and pressure have in the market, but it's your ability that you go out and still face it. So at times we take these small things that we do for granted, which we shouldn't actually. The fact that we are able to, deal with it firsthand is something which should be paid attention to. Coming back to social anxiety, again, why do we feel anxious in a social situation? Is because we tend to compare a lot. Again, now I'm thinking
Hmm.
very generic on this, and a lot of times social anxiety can be a real mental health issue and can be dealt on a case by case situation, because every individual will come up with their own unique challenges and sort of
Hmm.
positive points, right? Pros and cons every individual will have. But a blanket solution or a blanket sort of an opinion on this is that when we tend to sort of think about the factors which are beyond our control, whether my employee or my colleague will like me, whether my boss will
Hmm.
pay attention when I'm presenting, whether whatever, any other situations that come to. When we think about things that are not in your control, is when we start feeling unsure and uncertain about our own effort, right?
Hmm.
So the basic thing that you can
Correct.
do is, again, this is something that the lockdown has taught us. You can't go outside, go inside. Apply that same analogy when you are in a work meeting or when you're in your conference room. If you think about, oh, what might happen wrong, all possible things, it's a domino effect. Everything will start going wrong. When you think about things that are not in your control, your anxiety is further going to worsen. It's not going to help you at all. Think about the things that you have control on. You have control on your presentation, you have control on your preparation, you have control on your delivery, and that is it. If you put all of your efforts on that, I'm pretty sure you're
Hmm.
going to sail smooth through that particular presentation or through that
Hmm.
particular match. For an athlete, if you start thinking about, he's India number one, and okay, he's had so many international medals, it's not going to help you with your mental preparation. Instead, if you start thinking about, if you feel confident in your strategy, if you feel confident, okay, what can I do? What do I get to the table which is, stronger as compared to my opponent? Your confidence or your inner belief is going to further strengthen, and that belief will help you battle the anxiety. And
Hmm.
nowhere we are trying to diminish the anxiety. Nowhere we are trying to lock that anxiety in a box and throw that box away. No, you are out there
No.
facing your anxiety with the resources that you have. So if anxiety is like a challenge that is posed to you, your resources are your belief in your preparation, your self confidence. So these are the resources which you
Hmm.
use to fight and win
Yeah.
over that anxiety.
Hmm.
Another small tip would be to, again, appraise that situation in a way. Do you appraise your anxiety as a challenge, or do you appraise your anxiety as a threat to you?
Hmm.
It's okay. Some people might not end up liking you. It's not your life
Hmm.
goal or your life's mission to be, for everybody to be pleased with you. That's unrealistic
No.
expectations. And that is
Absolutely.
something that
Yes.
sets up us for failure. Setting these unrealistically high goals and striving in terms of only
Hmm.
achieving them, you are never going to be at peace and never going to be mindful again. So when you're in a situation which
Hmm.
gives you anxiety, the first thing is focus on what is in your control. Focus on the factors which you have
Correct.
control over. And you only have control over yourself. You cannot have a control over somebody else. Somebody else will
Correct.
come from a different psychological makeup, from a different mental sort of a makeup, with different things that they have dealt till that particular time in their life or that day, and they might
Hmm.
project those feelings on you. So you don't have control over
Hmm.
how their day goes. You only have control over how your day goes. So there are
Hmm.
10 things that you can keep
Somewhere I
worrying
think
about. Oh, what will happen to climate change? Oh, what will happen to petrol prices? So many things that you can keep on worrying about. So that's not
absolutely.
going to help you at all.
Somewhere I think it's more of, yeah, like it's more of knowing your own strength and focusing on yourself. That is where I think we should
And that
work
is
on
why,
about.
yeah, and that is why mental toughness or mental fitness is breaking yourself down and then building yourself back up again, using whatever resources you have, learning skills to strengthen those resources and face whatever situations that you usually face in
Hmm.
life.
Hmm. Correct. I have like two questions. I'll ask those two
Hmm.
questions.
Hmm.
It was basically the same one, how to keep our temper under control on and off court, both. In general
Hmm.
life also, and even on the court, whatever sports the
Right.
person's.
Right. Again, what anger teaches you is that there is some obstacle which is stopping you from achieving what you want to achieve. That is what is anger as an emotion, right? When you face any challenge or you face any obstacle is when you feel infuriated. I don't have enough resources to sort of deal with it, right? That is what anger does to you, and that is why that sort of sets off the trigger in our head, and then our decision making goes out of the window, our problem solving goes out of the window, and that is why then we cripple under anger. So of course, in no way I'm saying that anger is bad. Anger is good. It will sort of help you for if you channelize it in a way which is resourceful,
In a
which is
good way. Yeah.
productive. It is going to help you achieve what you want to achieve. It's going to help you
Correct.
keep up that inner drive and that inner fire on to sort of achieve your goals. So anger, again, in a
Correct.
way, it's good, which is going to act as that push for you to sort of strive harder and strive for better. So that's one thing. Another thing is what typically happens in anger management is we give too much of importance to that anger taking control over us, and we lose control over ourselves. And that is why we end up in, say, self-harming behavior or self-deprecative self-talk and things like that. We'll throw things around and catharsis will happen and things like that. Of course, that release is required, and nowhere you should bottle up that, okay, oh, I don't want to express and this and that, and you don't want to sort of put yourself into a cage. That emotional release needs to happen because, again, what happens when you feel or emote something is there's a built up that goes in your head, right? Similarly with crying,
Right.
when there's a release is when you emotionally give out some output
Yeah.
happens. So you might feel like crying, you might feel like laughing, you might feel very angry, and you might start sweating, and your heartbeat might go up and things like that. And that is why your mind and body are connected. Going back to the first thing that we spoke about. So first thing is that, again, try and take a step back. Now again, this might sound very cliche because oh, मैं तो गुस्से में हूँ, मैं क्यों पीछे जाऊँ? That's the first thing that we usually talk about, okay?
Correct.
But put yourself into a habit of this situation to sort of have a bird's eye view, to sort of have a metacognition. Think about what you're thinking right now, because you don't want yourself to paralyze because of any particular emotion or any particular thought, right? So think about what you're thinking, think about what is it that is setting you off, and that is what I mean. So when you have time to sort of work on your self-care and things like that, think about these situations. What sets me off? What are my triggers? What really is something that I cannot deal with, and that just something that frustrates me to a point where I can't function. Think about these things and then try and build solutions to, again, which are individually soothing, self-soothing activities. Chala आपण म्हणतो, think about those. For somebody, a spa session can be self-soothing, but that doesn't mean only a spa session is a self-soothing activity.
Of
There are
course.
many things that you can do. You can journal, you can read, you can talk to somebody, you can just think, you can whatever, listen to music, dance it out, and things like that. So think about all those things. And पहिली गोष्ट म्हणजे don't treat anger as a negative emotion. It's on a spectrum.
True.
So typically, anger management teaches you that ki, don't give all of your control to that emotion that you're facing. You still have to feel in control of the situation. Only then that emotion is not going to overpower you in any way, because your emotions will have an impact on how you behave, right? And like it said, word once spoken cannot be taken back. Actions once done cannot be reversed.
Of course.
So you don't want to do
You're
more
very true.
damage. So
Yes.
that is
To
why
the
it becomes important. So basically, पहिली गोष्ट, basic thing, again, focus on your breath work, because typically when you are angry, your breathing goes for a toss. Either it's too fast, or if you're a person who tries to sort
yes.
of not express it, it might feel a little, you might feel very heavily breathing and things like that. So
Yeah.
if you try and focus on that, if you try and get your breathing to normal, if you, again, you're in an angry situation and you try breathing, that's not going to help. You have to first teach your body what actually does deep breathing help and how does it help my body. So you have to practice and then perform. It's as good as sport. You can't try something new in a match. You will have to have training in your practice first, only then you can execute it in a match. So
Of course. Okay. So one more question is, what does an athlete go through while coming after I mean, so a lot of athletes are going into injuries, they have an injury, they go on a break after an injury, and then a comeback. And that too, a good comeback is what they aim for. So what is this that process? I mean, the process is what a person wants to know basically. I mean, what is that process? What is the thought process that keeps on going in an athlete's mind? The overthinking, or how do they come back? I mean, how do they overcome that specific situation?
right. So again, what happens is in an injury typically is that an athlete is drawn physically from that from his comfortable environment, right? And that is why these mental demons start taking control, and that is why that athlete is going to start thinking, oh, I can't play, or my tournament is, I'm missing my tournament, my ranking is going to go down, I'm going to lose my form, and this and that. I might not be able to come back as stronger as I would have wanted to, and things like that. So the first thing is pay utmost attention to your recovery. What injury means is that you have overtrained your muscles. So you don't have enough resources to meet the demands, and that is why that has taken a toll on your physical body, right? So the first thing is, do what your doctor tells you, do what your physiotherapist is telling you, and pay utmost attention to the rehab as well, because when you are into rehab is when you're trying to strengthen that particular muscle or that particular body organ which is sort of faced injury. So that is one thing. So all your attention should be focused on recovering. On rest and recovery is one thing which plays a lot of importance when you are undergoing an injury. दूसरी गोष्ट म्हणजे athletes have this, or I don't know if athletes, but a lot of people have this misconception that if you're not playing, you can't train your body. That's absolutely wrong, actually. You can still keep up with your mental fitness. One important thing that athletes do is tend to do a lot of visualization because they can't physically go and play, right? So a lot of mental imagery happens, a lot of focus on self-talk happens, a lot of practice analysis, video analysis, performance analysis can happen in when when you are on a break because of an injury. So you can still work on yourself, you can still stay in touch with your sport even if you are undergoing the rehab period that you are. And that is why learning all those skills, so learning what is visualization, it's not just closing your eyes and visualizing yourself playing. There are many more layers to it. So learning how to visualize, so thinking about what is it that I really want to visualize, because in our brain now, in layman's language, the organ or the part of the brain which is active when you physically play is the same part of the brain which is active when you visualize. So it's basically you're trying to fool your body. Ki boss, you're not playing, but you're still trying to work on that part of the brain which is involved. And that is why building that muscle memory is something which we pay attention to when we are undergoing a rehab sort of a break. And that is why mental fitness is important. You there are a lot of players who don't practice before a very important match. They try and take that break and they try and give their body that rest. That is, it's not that they're not doing anything. It's not that they're Netflix and chilling the whole time. They're trying to pay much, much more attention to their mental fitness, because mental fitness is that missing piece in the puzzle which is going to complete your jigsaw, which is going to complete that picture, which is going to complete your preparation. So, of course, there are many things that can be done with an athlete who's undergoing injury. Again, there's not a blanket solution. There's no one shoe fits all. It can be done on an individual basis. It also depends on how severe your injury is, whether you've gone under a surgery or whether it's just physiotherapy, whether you just how many months are you away from the sport, whether your injury is between the season, off season. Because all of these factors also play a lot, when it comes to dealing with how you can deal with better with an injury.
Of course, and then that helps in the comeback anyway. Correct. True. Okay, is that it all boils down to handling pressure, how to keep your mind in the present and the pressure situation. Like we tend to think about the result, knowing pretty much we shouldn't be thinking about it, but how we actually do that, like how to handle that pressure and handle the overthinking part which is going on.
Right. So, basics, okay, the basics of handling pressure is what meaning do you attribute to that pressure. There was a former tennis player, Billie Jean King, who has gone on record and said that pressure is privilege. I am privileged to be in that situation. That is why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. Those
That's
butterflies,
amazing.
and you look at any athlete, okay, look at Federer's interviews, look at Agassi's interviews, look at Dhoni's interviews for that matter. Recently, he went on board and said that I used to feel pressure, and it's okay. If you hit that sixer, you're going to lift the World Cup after so many years. That is a pressure situation, and sport is about pressure. You don't know what's going to
Pressure.
happen, and that's the reality of it. You can't run away from it, right?
I think life is about pressure, I think.
Of course it is.
I
Of
mean,
course, it's
you're
so
put
much
in situations.
performance dependent. Of course, it's so much on what you
Yes.
do and what your output is. There's so much riding on that. So that's one thing. Now, another thing is ki when you feel pressure, what you should okay, you know what happens is a lot of people know, okay, anxiety, okay, pressure, okay, this, okay, that. They don't know the real meanings of those things, right? So the first
Correct.
thing is, just because some senior blazing, oh, I feel pressure before playing, that doesn't mean that that pressure is going to be the same for you. So first understand what pressure means to me. What is it that goes
Hmm.
on in my mind? What is it that I think, and then I feel ki acha okay मला आता pressure वाटतंय. So try and go to the basics, try and go to the roots of it, try and understand what it
Hmm.
means to you. Only then you will be able to work out a solution for that. Another thing is, it's not an overnight change. You have to train your mind to deal with that pressure. Like you train your body for a 25 ball rally, or for a service receiving, or for a lap of 500 meters in the pool. Similarly, your mind also needs to be trained in to sort of perform in the pressure situations. So today we
Hmm.
talk about it,
Hmm.
and tomorrow, okay, you know, this is what Sanika spoke in the video. Let me try and do this. Tomorrow you're going to play a national quarter. It's not going to come. So till
Yeah,
your mind
yeah, of
doesn't
course.
know what are the thoughts that I have to think, or what are the techniques that I have to use to manage pressure, till your mind is not used to that practice, it's not going to perform.
Hmm.
So as
Hmm.
simple as that. And pressure is inevitable. So the sooner you accept this fact, the better you are going to thrive on it. So that pressure should sort of actually feel like, oh, I'm excited. Instead of, for example, just take the current example. We saw the news before we were doing the video. They were saying it's not lockdown 5.0, it's unlock 1.0. One
Correct.
small thing,
Yes.
the change in the terminology of how you approach it itself is so positive. Itself shows what perspective can do to a particular situation. Because
Correct.
if you call it lockdown
Yes.
5.0, people are again, acha, theek hai, आता June 30th parant parat you're going to be at home. But if
Ah,
you give
ah.
them some incentive, if you tell them, oh, it's unlock 1.0, so okay, these are the restrictions that we are uplifting,
Yeah.
and these are the things that can be can be started, they are going to feel okay, maybe now we are coming out of the situation. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
reword that pressure, instead of looking at it as a threat, look at it as an opportunity, as a challenge. Things like basic things which we tend to ignore, कि है नहीं काय होणार है. Smallest
Hmm.
of the small things cause biggest of the biggest change. So just
Absolutely. I
rewording
think this
it.
was something.
Yeah, and accept it that there are going to be butterflies. You are going to feel the jitters. As long as you can get the
Of
butterflies to
course.
fly in formation, you're good to go. Basic thing I
And I
when you
think,
when you go on table, the winning and losing probability is 50-50. You have to make it
yes, of
51
course.
forty
Of course.
nine. You don't have to make it 100 and 0.
Yes,
You
yes.
don't have to win all games 11-love. You can win 11-9. As long as you have 2 points more than your opponent, you are good
Yeah,
to go.
yeah, yeah.
Then that 2 points
Yeah.
can take you 3 all, or that 2 points can take you 4-love. It's again, it's easier
Yes.
said than done. It's really easier said
Done.
than
Yeah.
done. But that sort of gets us back to the point that mental training is training. You have to train your mind to see this. A perspective change is not going to happen overnight, or just by a week
Woman, of course.
practice. It's a
Yes.
huge change that you are undergoing. It's a mindset that you are changing. Just imagine आपल्याला एक stroke improve करायला इतका वेळ लागतो, which is physical. You can see what you're
I
doing. You
was
can
just
record your
thinking
action.
of that.
So
Of
one
course,
top
I was
spin
just
action can
thinking
take
of
so
that.
much, so long की
Yeah,
तुमचा
yeah,
डावा पाय हलतोय की नाही हे तुम्हाला दिसतंय की ओके माझा डावा पाय हलत नाहीये. You have physical
yeah.
evidence in front of that, and still that can take 10 multi-ball baskets. Just imagine changing a
Yes,
mindset can take you 10 months also, and you have to be okay with
yes,
that.
yes. I absolutely got this same picture in front of my eyes की म्हणजे इतका constant hard work असतं ते for that one top spin and for that one backhand to go on the table and actually win the match. Imagine the mindset would of course take a consistent practice.
Exactly.
Not going to happen overnight.
Exactly. And no, one personal example also, like when I was preparing to play in front of the rivals that I had, the rubbers that they used to use. For example, I quote the player when I was preparing to win with Mazreen Pardiwala, I had to play in front of that rubber.
Of
Means
course.
I had to have
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
and again, that didn't happen on one practice session. It mistook like full 2-3 months for me to get used to that bloody 652.
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
it's a lot of practice like that. So you can't just physical change la we are open for so many sessions. Then okay, maybe this session trial and error, maybe this session it's okay. You have to give yourself
Yes.
that time when you come and it comes to your mind also.
Absolutely. All of this is such a good nostalgia for me. Like I've just all of a sudden have gone back to those days of practicing
Yeah,
every day, morning on the table all the time, doing nothing but just playing TP.
exactly, exactly.
All right, I think we are done with the session. Thank you so much, so much. It was really, really fun. I mean,
I
I
had
love
fun.
talking about the mental health, and it was really, really fun for me personally. And I think I hope we could have. I mean, I don't know how this is going to help people, but I hope this helps people really, really well. And we would come up with more
Definitely.
people.
Thank you for having me also here. I had absolute fun. We could go back to the TP days and talk about that.
Yes,
Amazing. It was a nice evening that we
absolutely.
spent.
And it's yeah. Nice, good evening. And like,
Fun.
all
Good
right,
fun.
thank you so much. I need to